Build and have healthy relationships. That's right, tools to build and have healthy relationships. Today we are diving into an episode called Jamel, I Have Questions, where my guests come on and they ask me several questions related to relationships. And today I have no other than the real Stacy J.
Thank you for having me.
What's going on?
Everything.
How you feeling this morning?
I am wonderful. Every time I get a chance to wake up, I'm like, I made it.
Okay. So what you got going on these days? Before we even get into the whole question and everything about relationships, what do you have going on?
Right now, I started my last year on my 50th birthday. I started.
Hold up. On your 50th birthday?
That's right, 50th.
You are 50?
Yeah, and fabulous.
Okay.
Fine and all that stuff.
Hold on a second. Before we get into what you are doing out here in this world, how are you maintaining the lifestyle and the 50 looking like 30 look?
One thing I believe in, always having a childlike demeanor. You know what I mean? Not immaturity, but I'm dancing, I'm laughing. I think that's one of the keys to staying young, because being an adult is hard. You know what I'm saying? So oftentimes we kind of get in the grind of every day. We lose that childlike mentality. We don't have fun, or we wait till we go on vacation to have fun. And I believe that because that attitude I have about life, it helps me stay youthful. And then I also take care of my skin.
Okay.
So that's why I was saying when I turned 50, I was like, you know what? I've always been an advocate of skin. My mom, my aunts, my cousins, always was into good skincare. Always a regimen, a bunch of products. And so when I was turning 50, I was like, you know what? I want to help women have the longevity of great skin. Because just because you're aging doesn't mean you have to act old or look old. So I just wanted to help people know the importance of, whether you use my products or not, to use something consistently to help keep the deficiencies that we lose as we get older in our skin.
Well, that's external. What are you putting inside?
Oh, well, I ain't gonna lie, like I'm fruits and vegetables in all water. I'm bad at water, but I do have my moments where I'm like, oh, I gotta get it in. I do try to eat as healthy as I can, meaning I'm air frying, I don't do a lot of fried, I add more vegetables. You know, I don't have a perfect diet at all, but I do try to make sure that I'm doing the things that will help my body from the inside out, because that is what it's about, beauty from the inside out.
Now, are you exercising a lot?
I am now. Let me tell you, I have a love-hate relationship with working out. I like fun workouts like double dutch aerobics or, you know, dancing and things of that nature. And then I fall off, you know. But right now, you know, turning 50, you got to keep it up a lot more consistent to see the results that you want, you know. So yeah, every day now, except this morning because I'm here. Wow,
50 years old. You look good.
Thank you.
You look good. So, okay, now tell me about the skincare line. Let's hear about the skincare line. Okay, because
it's called Skin Life, and it is a 6-step system. Well, you can actually get it a la carte, but it is 6 steps. So you have the facial soap with hibiscus in it. You have a sea moss mist spray. You have a face vitamin with vitamin C and vitamin E. You have day cream, and then at night you repeat with the soap. You have an anti-aging serum that you put on, and a night cream. I also have a Kalula oil, which is a healing oil that has marigold flowers in it. It helps with inflammation, eczema. So we have like a natural plant-based line, as well as some other products that help, like I said, with the deficiencies that you lose in your skin.
That is amazing. So y'all know that eventually I'm gonna have some real Stacy J on my face.
That's right.
Hold on, what's the skincare line?
Skin Life.
I'm gonna have the Skin Life on my face. So, all right, we're gonna get into these questions.
Okay.
I know you got some Power Pack questions,
I do.
and I am ready to answer.
Okay.
So let's do this.
Let's get it. So this generation now, when it comes to dating, because as I said, I'm 50, so the difference in dating. So like when I'm looking at some of these podcasts, I saw a gentleman talking about a man being intimidated by a woman. Like what man wants to date a woman that has all this going on? She's accomplished with her finances, she's degreed, and he spoke about who wants to deal with a woman like that? And I'm confused, because I'm saying we come from the times where women stayed home with the kids and took care of the home and the man went out. Now we're at a place where women are holding their own. They are even making more money sometimes than the men. Can you elaborate on, one, do you think that's true? And if so, why are men intimidated by the fact of a woman being successful?
That word intimidation is a very big word. And I believe someone may be intimidated, one, for lack of knowing who they are. Because I believe when you know who you are and you're secure in who you are, then you won't be so much concerned or intimidated by what somebody else's achievements are. So I wouldn't look at a woman and say, oh my God, she's making $100,000 a year and I'm only making $50,000 a year. I'm intimidated by her income.
Right.
Or man, she's 50 and looking like that. There's no way she's gonna talk to somebody like me.
Right.
I'm intimidated by, there's a lack of value within myself.
Right.
That I need to lean into and say, why am I intimidated by what somebody else's achievements are?
Yeah.
And it keeps me from pursuing them.
Yeah.
You know? So if there's a lack of value in you, I would first discover why is that value? What is that value? Why am I empty in that area that I feel so intimidated? Because you shouldn't be intimidated.
Yeah.
And I don't believe a woman should dumb down her value because somebody is intimidated.
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, you may have a woman, and I'm pretty sure you know women like this, that they're making the great income. They have the great body, they have the great education, you know, they have all the external things, but internally they're probably still void.
Yes.
And that can be something that man who is intimidated may be able to feel. You might not have the great income, but you have something that she needs internally.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
But I think that has to be taught once again.
Exactly, because that segues into the next question, which is when you think about when people break up, right? I've been married, divorced, relationships broke up. I don't think people know how to take that bounce back. That's what I call it, bounce back time, to really bounce back. And what you find and I'll say with women because I'm a woman and I listen to them, and you hear that saying about the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody. So I've been married. I was married for like 15 years. I've been divorced. I've been in relationships and broke up. So I've had that experience. But what I notice is that when you break up, a lot of people don't take that time to really heal, to really take a deep dive in themselves, to see what their role was in it. So I want to ask you, how important do you think that it is for a man or a woman to take that time when you break up to really heal and get yourself whole, so that the first question that you're not really stepping into those type of situations because you know who you are.
It's extremely important, and once again, I can relate to your pain and to your story of divorce. I was divorced.
Okay.
I was married 11 years and went through a divorce, and what I learned out of that was there's the healing of the memory. There's a chapter in my book called Living with the Memory. Okay. And a lot of times when we go through that sting, we never learned how to live with the memory. So therefore we mask it and say things like, I'm okay. So the healing is extremely important. I had to go through a 16-week course called The Healer Being Healed.
Oh, okay.
So before I go out here and try to reach people and touch people and speak to people, am I healed from what I experienced? Am I healed from my trauma? And most of us, we just leap automatically into another relationship, into a trauma bonding type of relationship. So we think if I jump into another relationship, this person can heal me. When sometimes that healing takes a solitude in a healthy environment. So yes, the living with the memory portion is so important because we think we're okay. And life has triggers.
Yes.
And so women and men, and let's just say women, we enter into a new relationship and we think we're okay. Maybe we haven't given ourselves that time. And so what happens is this man may say something or do something, or you hear a song and then it triggers an emotion or triggers a mental, display or something that happened with a previous man. And now you're looking at him like, quiet.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's going on? I thought we were having an amazing time. Drop me off. Whoa, what's going on?
Like you don't know what happened.
Yeah. And so if that becomes something that's repeated over and over and over, now we form this vocabulary. Not all women, but some women form the vocabulary. Men ain't ish.
Yeah.
No, there's a deep inner hurt and a healing you need to go through.
Yeah.
You know? You need that environment. You need a safe place.
Yeah. You do.
And most of us haven't experienced that type of solitude.
Nope.
You know? Especially, when the pandemic broke up, that's probably as quiet and solo and alone as some of us have ever been.
Yeah.
And we had to be with our thoughts, let alone now you're not in a relationship.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got to deal with me. That's the healing part, dealing with you.
Yeah.
So you can be healthy for the next person, you know? And there will always be some part of healing we need to go through.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I understand that very well because that was me when I had a breakup in, 2020, right before the pandemic, like really hit. Moved in my place. I was like, ooh, first time empty nester, like no kids, no nothing. And I had to take a deep dive into me because I'm like, some of the things that has happened is not, well, everything that's happened is not his fault. It's mine, because I had no gun upside my head. I had no knee on my neck where I couldn't get out. So that for me, I had to take that deep, deep dive to figure out, like, why did you accept it? Where are you with yourself? And you find out that the self-love is kind of not there as you thought it was. Because you think about it, if someone came in here right now and started cussing us out, we kind of like, hey, hold on, you know. But the person that loves us is supposed to be with me, talking to me like that or treating me like that. So, you know, you have to understand, you know, you don't have to accept it while you're accepting it, because maybe it's something lacking in you, you know, as well.
And I want to say this to women that are listening and watching. I understand betrayal can be brutal. Whether it's betrayal, whether it's someone crossed you the wrong way, you had a hope in them, and then they led you astray intentionally, or maybe it was unintentionally. That can sting, but the hurt is not always beautiful. I mean, the healing is not always beautiful.
No, it's not.
Sometimes it's ugly.
Well, mine was.
I just had this image of like someone who was addicted to drugs, whatever that drug may have been, and now they got to go through rehabilitation. Sometimes that's ugly.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
you can't have that drug no more. And let's just say that man was like a drug to you.
Yeah.
And now you don't have access to him no more. You really desire to be with him, but you know it's not healthy for you. And you're surrounding yourself with other healthy women, safe women that are telling you, listen, girl, we gonna hold your hand through this. Got a counselor, I'm gonna hold your hand through this. I know you wanna reach out to him, you wanna go back to him, you wanna do this, you know? But that's not healthy for you, that's not good for you, it's toxic for you.
Yeah, that's why it's important to have a support system. And I think that you have to look at your circle, because sometimes, like, if you got a bunch of girlfriends that's like, girl, please, you should, you know what I mean, giving you the wrong advice. It's so important to have a tribe. And that's what, you know, I have, and that's what I've created for myself. Because sometimes at some point you need to be self-sufficient. You know what I mean? Like, it's always good to have someone, whether it's your mom, your sister, a friend. But I've learned, like, the asking of opinions of others, it's their opinion. So if you're not in agreement totally, and you're like, well, that's my big cousin, you know, she told me and I should, you know, do it. You want to make sure you align with the response that they give you, so that there's no regret in the decision that you make.
Yeah, and that's something I pointed out in my book, Living with that chapter, Living with the Memory, is the way that we do that is we have to partner those memories with healthy people, not perfect people.
Yeah.
Because the memory's not going anywhere. Whatever he did, whether she did, whatever you did to yourself, that's the first step.
That's the part.
Let's remove the man out the equation. We have to do that. I'm not saying that he did not hurt you, that the sting was not brutal, but let's remove him out of the equation. And now we have to look at us. What did I do to myself? Because I did make this decision. I did make this choice. Let alone, maybe I made a choice outside of the man, and now I have to do some deep digging, maybe into my childhood, and then forgive myself and say, God, forgive me for what I did to me.
Yeah, it's accountability.
Yes.
And that's what I did. That's what I'm saying, you know, and I'm working on something too, because for me, it was enlightening. I didn't realize how much I didn't love myself. Like, it wasn't to the point where I just downright didn't. But when you look at what you accept, when you look at how you react and things of that nature, it was like, there's some self-love missing here. Because if you really loved yourself, you could say, hey, you know what? This is not going to work for me. And it's best for both people, because sometimes people think when you make a decision, you know what I'm saying, it's really for the both of you. Because if I say I'm not ready for a relationship, and you're like, come on. And then we do it, and then what I said happens, it's already a pre-warning that I said I'm not ready. And I know a lot of times I did that, like where I was in something and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm ready to be a stepmom. I'm not ready for these things. And I let them talk me right back up in there. You know what I mean? And then realize, so I don't have I didn't see the red flags. I don't have that story. You saw them, I saw them. And so as I was navigating through it, there was this Stacy going, what you doing? Like, we better than this. You don't do that. Then the other side's like, well, you know, everybody has their own issues and stuff like that. We want to be mindful and considerate and give grace. Am I despised or me losing myself or whatever? So again, it's not that person's responsibility. It is mine to say this no longer works for me, or I'm not happy in this, or I can't be the partner that this person wants me to be, you know? So those things I think are important, that accountability.
Yeah, yeah.
This one.
Oh boy.
This is my new take, and I just want to ask you. So when it comes to dating now, right? So the way I look at dating is differently. So people will get together and in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month, it's like, we go together, right? We exclusive, whatever. Now, I believe dating could take a year to really consummate the relationship. I say that because I know some people say, I know what I want to be married, I want children, nothing's wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, what are we rushing to? Because this is somebody that you're going to spend your life with, maybe procreate with, buy property, spend money, combine and all that. When it comes to dating, do you think that people don't take enough time to really get to know each other a lot better than the occasional, like, this my man, this my woman, we together, you know?
I believe when it comes to that outside of time, I don't believe people implement intentionality and purpose to dating.
Okay.
They don't connect it.
Yeah.
There's no intentionality behind what we're doing. So we're connecting, and if you're spending time with this person carelessly, with no purpose, no intention of where we're going, no destination, then yes, then it becomes like, okay, what are we doing? And then yes, time would be of the essence because you're not spending any of the time intentional. So it may take you 2 years because maybe the first 6 months you weren't being intentional.
Yeah.
Now I'm not, once again, everybody's different. For some people might not even have that much time to spend with the person.
Okay.
So they got a lot time to be with them. So it may take longer. It may take a person a year. I just believe that we know what we want. And when I say we, I'm talking about men and women. But when we connect intentionality and purpose behind what we want, then the time frame doesn't take as long to discover if this is the person for me to spend even more time with.
Okay.
And sometimes we're not, and once again, inside that intentionality and inside that purpose, there's questions that I'm asking. There's core values that I'm reviewing. There's character that I'm discerning, you know? But if I'm just freestyling and just going, you know what, we're just gonna get together and let's just see what happens. No, we can actually predict what happens. There are some things that are out of our control, but we can actually predict our days. We can say, okay, this is what I'm gonna do tomorrow. This is what I'm gonna do next week. Now, of course, like I said, there's some things out of our control, but we're intentional about it. We know where we're going.
Okay. Okay. And the reason why.
Here's my question to you. Well, it's Jamel, I have questions, but
right.
I have one
now
for you.
You have one for me, okay.
How long do you believe it takes you to figure out, you know what, this is the one? Now, of course, here's the thing, we're always evolving, you know, because even if you meet somebody now, a year from now, maybe there'll be a change in them. 5 years from now, they're evolving to another person, hopefully for the better. But how long do you believe it takes Stacy J to say, you know what, I think I could spend the rest of my life with this person?
Well, from my experience, so when I've dated, it doesn't take long for it to be like, okay, well, we're gonna be together, we'll be in a relationship. And the reason why I asked you that question is because the way I look at it is a little different. I believe in intention in everything you do. However, when you've had an experience and now you're reshaping what things look like to you. So for me, dating, I've reshaped it a little bit.
Ah, there it is.
What?
Go ahead.
Right. So I reshaped it a little bit because I looked at my prior relationships, right? How long did it take before y'all was like, we go together, you know? How long was it, like I had a child at 20, you know what I mean? Did I know him? Absolutely not. I'm young, you know what I mean? So when I think about procreating, I'm like, I love my son to death. But if I knew, of course, we say if our younger self would have known, I would have done things differently, right? So I look at, like, I was kind of in relationships with something kind of fast, you know, without really kind of getting to know the person a little bit more. Now, I know you may never know someone, but at least let me kind of get to know the foundational, like, how do they deal with money? How would they appear to be as a parent? Or, you know, how do they deal with death? How do they deal with lack of money? How do they deal with those things? And I know this is the grown me talking, but I'm saying now that if you look at your experiences and you're dating now, it's like, are you still making those hasty moves and decisions? So when I say, yeah, you know, if you're in the market to be married or something, you're very intentional with that. With someone that's gotten out of a breakup and that it's like, I welcome love. I definitely do. I don't know when that is. I don't have a timeline for it. When I see it or feel it, I feel like that'd be the moment. But in between the meantime, if I meet someone, I'm getting to know them first. Like if I met you and I'm like, I'm gonna go out with them, have some drinks, talk, whatever, I'm not in a rush to be your woman. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know who you are, and you don't know who I am. Because it's not until you find out whether they lazy, they keep a dirty house, you don't find out those things till like much later, unless you guys are moving in warp speed. And that's what I'm saying. I just want to enjoy the moments and flow. So when I say flow, I don't mean I'm just out here like, well, whatever. I'm saying that I want to be more intentional about my intention of being with someone. Especially as you get older, it's like you hear your aunties and stuff like, I don't have time to be wasting, or I don't have time for nonsense as much as I can prevent it. However, I'm open to everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm open to love. I'm open. Marriage, I can take it or leave it. I mean, not because I'm bitter about it, but I don't think marriage, that's a whole nother story. I don't just think marriage makes a relationship.
Definitely not.
So that's what I want to ask you when I was, thinking. I was like, because sometimes when I talk about dating now to people that are kind of traditional or really want to be in a relationship, it's kind of like, why you think like that? Like, you don't want to be, and it's like, I never said I don't want to be loved. I'm saying that I've never been with Stacy alone, by myself. What do you like? What do you want to do? What do you want to eat? I haven't done that because at 20, I became responsible for a human being. Then 26, I became responsible for another human being and a husband and a dog, and so it's like with dating now, I don't know what it looks like, you know what I mean? But I do know from my experiences, I think taking a little bit more time, although things can crash and burn in 6 months or a year, but what's the rush when you're trying to really make an investment? Because people are investments.
No, I believe your point is very valid, especially based on your experience and your level of maturity. Once again, that's connected to that intentionality and that purpose. So your intentionality and your purpose is laying a solid foundation. And if for you that takes a year, which you say a time frame of a year, it may be longer or it may be shorter.
It may be shorter.
But it's part of your blueprint for your foundation.
Right.
Whereas you're saying, you know what, I've healed from this, and I'm taking some time to myself. Now I'm getting back out in the dating world. I'm gonna give myself, if I meet somebody, at least a year to really get to know them. Although I know they're gonna always evolve, and it can be somebody else 2 years from now, 3 years from now. That it's part of evolution. But I'm giving myself a year time.
Yeah.
I'm being intentional about every move we're making throughout that year.
Right.
But you're open to, okay, 3 months, 6 months in, wow,
Right.
this is not what this is
amazing.
This is amazing. This is more than I ever thought it was. I thought it was gonna take a year. It only took 8 months. Or it took 5 months.
Yeah.
But I think that's perfect what you're talking about. And I think some women may wanna adopt that mentality, especially if you came out of a breakup. First of all, when you come out of the breakup, give yourself some time.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. It's important.
Because then you may think that I need another relationship to fulfill me.
Codependency.
And I'm not saying it's easy, but I would say this, these are tools coming right now. Find healthy people, not people that want to gossip about your pain, but healthy people you can bleed. You can show them your wound and say, look, the ugliest wound, this is what happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I run into people all the time, women and men, who have some ugly wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
And sometimes we try to mask it and we try to patch it up with whatever we're doing, whether I'm going out for the evening or I'm getting my skin all shined up, but internally I'm hurting, I'm suffering, I'm crying, I'm screaming for help. And then also I'm looking at now the opposite sex like, ugh, all of you are the same. Yeah. First of all, I want to say this on the show to women that are watching and listening. We need to dismantle the thought of all men are like this.
Please. I hate that.
Because all men are not like whatever you think they are.
Yeah.
Maybe all the men you've entertained.
Which is a mirror sometime of you.
Yes, because here's the thing. When I hear that, we got to understand that we also made the choice. Am I saying it's right for whatever was done? No, but you got to play your role. You made the decision to choose him.
Yes.
And he became a part of your world, let alone if he broke your heart and left and then you chose him again.
Now you're teaching him how to treat you.
We're going to close with this. Women have so much power. I emphasize this so much when I meet women. Y'all have so much power that, I'm going to go ahead and say this. There's standards that you guys can set. And I'm not saying from an egotistical way, like this is my standard, you got to come up here, with your nose in the air like that. But I'm saying when women set a standard, men will either come up to that standard or they would have to walk away.
Yes.
You know, if women said, you know what, if all the women got together and said, you know what, we're not dating any more men unless their pants are pulled up and they got their belt on. Watch the revolution of men starting to put belts on and pull their pants up. But when we don't set that standard, we'll be following behind the man like that.
Exactly.
But there's a deeper issue with that as well. You know, we're not going to get into that. You know what I mean? If you're not knowing who you are and whose you are, then of course I'll follow anybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
But when we have a standard, and that's just one area where they set their standard. They can set standards in marriage. They can set standards in sex. They can set standards in so many areas that men gonna have to come up. I love it because when I watch National Geographic and I'm watching the Nature Channel, the woman, there was this one image. It was the female bird.
Okay.
And whatever animal it was, the female was just always chilling.
Right.
She just had a standard on her, and the male animal had to come and do something to entertain her or to get her to lower her standard or come down from the tree branch or come out the cave or come and say, what we got going on?
Right.
It was never her lowering her standard to meet his needs.
Right.
She had a standard, and women have power.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And it's knowing that you have it.
It's knowing that you have it, and ways to tap into that power is surrounding yourself with other powerful women.
And being willing to be accountable for your own actions and who you are, because that's why I was saying I realized your love is here. Now, what Beyonce say, my love is on top. Like, it's not, I'm better than you or anything, but I value me.
That's what it is.
Show.
The value, listen, when you have your value, and let's just use that love as we close it, let's use that love. When you realize, I love myself this much. Listen, brother. Listen, man, you gotta love me how I love me. You ain't gotta be perfect, but my love can't be on 10 and you trying to offer me 3 love.
Yeah.
Or level 5 love.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't know how to love me, I understand you're a great man, nice meeting you, but I need the love to match my love, or at least be close.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if I'm at a 10, you gotta at least be at an 8 or a 9 on the love scale. You can't come into my world mistreating me and trying to bring my love down, and now I feel low self-esteem again because I let you break down my love. No, I set a standard for love, and it's on 10.
Yep. Meet me or beat me.
Yeah, I'm the heir of the throne of God. I'm highly favored. I'm the head and not the tail type of love.
I know that's
You know
right.
what I mean? I'm clean and pure and healthy and strong type of love. You got affirmations that you know what I'm saying?
That I'm saying every day, you know?
Hey, listen, man, if you guys are single, dating, married, and you're looking for a show to have some tools to build healthy relationships, I want you to tune into the Value TV show. The real Stacy J was on here today. Hey, listen, where can the people find you at?
Oh, all on social media. My skincare line is It's Skin Life on all social media platforms, and then the real Stacy J as well. And skinlife.me if you want to get that skincare products. Learn more, follow me, ask me questions. I'm here to help.
Oh, thank you, Stacy.